All right, Sam Maggs objects to the lack of lead writer credit for Ratchet and Clank, a Rift Apart lead writer. Wait, hold on. What? Objects to lack of lead writer credit for Ratchet and Clank, a Rift Apart. Lead writer reveals Rivet is canonically a lesbian. Okay. Former The Mary Sue writer Sam Maggs recently objected to her lack of credit for serving as the lead writer on Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Did anybody play this game?
No.
No.
I'm so glad you insisted we cover it, Footnote. The social justice activist and writer was prompted to speak out after IGN published a report on Insomniac lead designer Mark Stewart's recent GDC talk, Lumbuk's Lessons, a Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart design postmortem, wherein he discussed how Rivet, okay, is that how she identifies? How the Rivet got her name. According to Stewart, the game's multiversal counterpart to series hero Ratchet was initially codenamed Ratchet, though this was soon rejected for being too diminutive and reducing her existence to a gender-swapped Ratchet, which is what she is. Two principles which ran counter to the game's everyone's a hero design philosophy. For a short while, the team had settled on playing up the doppelganger angle by naming her Ratchet before finding it too confusing and switching it to Gadget. However, when this name failed to land with developers who had enjoyed Inspector Gadget or Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, the animated Disney television series featuring a female mouse with the same name. Yep, you hear that, Random 11? Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers? The subject was...
I do have the Blu-ray.
Yes. The subject was returned to the drawing board. Eventually, someone pitched the name Rivet, and it quickly stuck. Distinguishing Rivet as her own individual person was also tricky, as though the team initially wanted to embody a survivalist Beastmaster archetype and use nature to fight against her enemies. They found it was too restrictive compared to Ratchet's wide arsenal of sci-fi weapons. Further, the team also scrapped this idea after they realized the nature-loving woman was a trope. Yeah, the grease monkey woman, that's not a trope. Following the publication of IGN's article, Maggs took to Twitter to voice her issues with the piece, tweeting on March 29th, quote, "This is a fun piece that goes into detail about how we developed Rivet, though it's pretty upsetting and frankly offensive that they never once mentioned me." Cue the Jamie Markey. Some people think everything's about them or whatever it was. Given I was the lead writer and responsible for a ton of this development. Seems like Mark's GDC talk makes it sound like a bunch of this stuff sprung up from nowhere. I was one of like 4 people in the room for most of Rivet's development, Maggs claimed. Quote, "I was the one who said, we can't call her Ratchet. Gadget and Rivet were me. Sucks to have my work erased." She asserted, "This speaks to a broader issue of game devs being entirely erased from the narrative of their own work, hence they leave a studio. I'm not even credited as a writer on this game, despite dedicating a year and a half of my life to it and creating Rivet's personality from scratch." She sounds riveting. Pointing to a
generally companies have like stipulations where it's like you have to work on the game for X amount of years.
For a year and 7 months to do.
Yeah. So if she quit
one day longer, right?
You know, okay, you quit. You don't. Yeah, that's it. You don't get your name on the fucking box anymore.
Pointing to a quote from Stewart, Maggs continued, quote, "At a time where story treatments were being rapidly iterated on, who wrote every single one of those story treatments? It wasn't Mark. It was me! Actually, I worked my ass off on this game for a long time."
Come on, Mark.
And it's misogynist.
Fuck you, Mark.
No, I'm sorry for that joke. It wasn't even a dad joke. That was just a bad joke.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
I love how that looks partially in 60 FPS for some reason.
It is. It's 4K 60 FPS.
Why?
Because artificial intelligence is a beautiful thing. It probably didn't stream in 60 FPS.
Or 4K, for that matter.
All right. All right. It was me, actually. I worked my ass off on this game for a long time, and it's misogynist erasure like this that makes my blood boil. Taking particular issue with the description of a vague someone having been the brains behind Rivet's name, Mags fumed. Someone? I guess I just don't even deserve a name or the memory of having been a part of senior leadership on this project for years. Take the hint, Sam. They are intentionally trying to forget you. Who might have called this out as being an issue? Mags rhetorically asked in regards to the issue with Rivet's original name, Ratchet. Could it have been me? The person literally hired to do this job? Jesus.
Wow, you were the only person who had that thought that Ratchet wasn't a good idea?
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry to choose violence today, but I'm not about to let a man erase and take credit for my own hard work. An exasperated Mags declared, I'm disgusted and pretty livid.
Clearly, it was about the gender of the individual.
This total erasure would make me less furious if I didn't have the memories of sobbing in offices for hours after fighting tooth and nail to stop Rivet from being cut from the game entirely. What? If I would, this total erasure would make me less furious if I didn't have the memories of sobbing in office. Are you telling me that you sobbed and begged for, like, fighting tooth and nail and to stop Rivet from being cut from the game entirely weren't burned into my brain? She added,
the total erasure of my heart.
countering a claim by Stewart that Rivet was always intended to be a core element of the title's gameplay.
Well, even if the first statement was true, you know why they would have possibly wanted to cut her entirely from the game? Because as the first thing came up, she's literally just a female counterpart clone of Ratchet. It's like,
I wish they cut Sam Mags entirely from the game.
It's like if they made what is it? Who's a superhero that's like, oh yeah, of course they made a
Supergirl.
They made, of course they made a Supergirl. Yes, that's just, that's so organic and it totally feels. Why don't they just make I don't know, a completely new original character, or just leave it at Ratchet and Clank? Let them do their thing as they usually do. I don't know.
Ratchet and Clank, more like a Rivet and Crank, am I right?
Is Crank going to be the next character they add?
He was making a I was making a
You should be ashamed of that one.
What are you talking about? I'm just
He was talking about me. Don't diminish my contribution to that cringe.
I followed you, buddy.
Rivet was a team effort, Max said. Maybe let's acknowledge the whole team. And by the whole team, I mean me. I would like to speak to your manager. The whole team would seemingly not include Stewart as she next tweeted, Mark had a massive issue with me the entire time I was on this project and consistently attempted to undermine me. Oh, I'm not surprised he's decided to take unilateral credit for my work now that it's been praised as successful. This is what it's like being a woman in games.
Yes, also, it's about being a woman, not the character trait.
Why again did you convince me to cover this? What was the previous thing with Sam Mags? Was it she's not?
It was the KOTOR thing, yeah. Which apparently you felt that was okay to cover. Listen, when I said to cover this, I thought it was going to be you read the 2 tweets and then we move on and say, "Yep, up to the old routine."
Well, we're in too deep now. Also,
the old routine of read every goddamn line of text. Yeah.
I'm gonna skip to the important ones. The one where she says. The one where she says, like the literal last ones, please. Let's not even mention the fights I had to get into and the emails I had to send explaining why we should take the boobs and makeup off Rivet.
Okay, that's the one. Oh, I was just gonna say that's the one. Oh god.
Also, hold on. God damn it. Also, Rivet is canonically a lesbian. So there.
And that's why she was potentially possibly cut entirely, because it's not about being a character, it's about being a mascot. But the other
Guys,
one.
did you guys know that Dumbledore is gay?
Did you know that he also married Harry? What?
I just wanted to let you know, because J.K. Rowling didn't put it in the books, but she came out later and said that he's gay.
Did you see the YouTube videos that were analyzing Harry Potter? Like how J.K. Rowling writes a mystery have been changed to how a TERF writes a mystery.
What? Okay. So the thing I was going to say about the tweet, the boobs and makeup change thing, she talks about, they're trying to erase my credit for me basically being the creator of this character. And
So
it's like,
is she saying because she's a lesbian she can't have boobs?
No. But what like oh god. Sorry. So boobs. so hold up. Okay, so she's saying that she's taking credit or whatever. They're trying to erase her credit for she's basically the person who created the character. But how did she have so little control over the character that she allegedly created? Did she make it with too much boobs in the makeup? I thought she made the character. What happened?
Wow, you got her.
Because I don't know what. What the hell?
I mean,
Bloke
Australia
man?
has the greatest inorganic superhero, Bloke Man.
Sounds like a top bloke to me, but.
Final thoughts on Sam Maggs. I vote that as long as there isn't anything even tangentially related to anime about these articles, we never bring her up again because she clearly is an attention whore.
Sure, we can do that.
All right.
But yeah, basically I kind of just X'd out on the I created her.